Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So I thought I'd give you guys another bit of an update on how the Torana is going. So as you can look here, yeah, for those of you who have been following this from the start, you'll probably remember like the worst part of this entire job was in fact that back panel, and like there was basically nothing left of the taillight buckets. So I've actually since sourced a place that they actually supplied these taillight buckets and the taillight panel there. So I was actually quite lucky to find that. I got that for $1,000. So for the 2 buckets and for that back panel, that was $1,000. It actually came in bare metal. So I asked my boss at work, I said, hey, can I just get some primer on that at work? So I got some yeah, just some non-sanding primer on there. Or was it? No, it was sandable primer. Yeah, that's why it's white. So it's a Standox primer. And I did actually leave those edges in bare metal, but then I put some zinc weld through primer on. One of the guys from work, now, you know, I actually know that lots of you guys are much better at the metal work than I am, and you got more experience. So I do actually encourage the commenting and, you know, steering me in the right direction where you can. But I've had a few people say use zinc spray, and I always thought, yeah, because you see the guys at work, they always use zinc spray. But then one of the guys at work, he actually said to me, he goes, zinc spray is only for spot welding. So, and it kind of makes sense, because I've been doing a few patches. It was on one of the doors somewhere, and everywhere, it was only, I only started noticing it when I started using the zinc primer. It was like you could hear it bubbling, and it's like you weren't getting like a nice clean arc out of that welder. So yeah, I don't know, is it something I'm doing, or is that actually a thing? Because then one of my other mates, who's a panel beater, he came over to actually help me with that back panel, and I said, oh, can you use zinc primer for the MIG? And he goes, yeah, no, it's totally fine. So I don't know, let us know in the comments what your thoughts are about zinc, or is copper better? I've heard some people say that the copper spray is better than the zinc. Maybe I should be on the copper spray, but either way, it's not the end of the world. I'm doing quite well on this job. I'm still having a lot of fun on it. So I actually managed to get this week off. So they're fixing the electrical wiring at work. So I've got this week off, and so that's good that I can spend a bit of time on my pride and joy. So this is actually what I did today. I just pulled the drums off. So I've decided I'm going to leave the drum brakes on the rear. I asked my old apprentice Alan, I said, what do you reckon, man? Like, should I get discs on the rear? Because I'm going to get disc brakes on the front. And he said, look, man, it's only a 6-cylinder. Save yourself a bit of money and leave the drums on the rear. So these were filthy. They were like caked in rust. There was cobwebs, and there was dust and dirt and mud in there. So gave them a really good clean out inside and out. Treated them. I've been using this stuff called Penetrol. I'll show you guys in a minute. It's up there. Really been quite happy with the results I've been getting out of it. And yeah, so obviously being that we're going to be welding this back panel, and I had to take the tank out, so that sort of encouraged me to give underneath here a good clean out. That diff was kind of covered in oil and all that kind of stuff, so gave that a good clean up as well. I got my wire wheel all like on that entire surface and just cleaned all of the loose stuff off. I then gave it a good soaking with Penetrol, left it overnight, and that goes like really nice and sticky. And then I went over with the Stone Guard, I think that is. Yeah, so I'm doing Stone Guard anywhere that's sort of gonna be exposed to rocks and chips on the underbody, but anything on the inside, I'm doing body deadener. So yeah, like obviously inside here, it would like the same thing. That was just covered in just rust and dry stuff. So I just, yeah, got the wire wheel onto it. Again, Penetrol. But yeah, with this one here, it's worse. It's going to be a bit of a harder job to fix than what I originally thought. So I'm really glad that my friend is happy to come and help me out. His name's Torana. So he's actually an old friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. Must be around 20 years now that I've known him for. So yeah, mate, you're a legend. Thanks, Torana. And yeah, so what he's actually, you can have a look at some of the work that he's done. That's probably about 3 hours work just getting that there, right? So we made up a jig, right? Or he did, you know, I guess I was sort of his offsider, I was sort of helping out. So that's at least going to give us something to even weld those tail light buckets to. That's how bad it was. Like there was basically nothing left. So eventually what we'll end up doing is we'll cut around here and we will sit that in, weld that in flush, bog it up. So yeah, like some people have been telling me, and you know, look, keep the comments coming. If you've got any recommendations or, you know, constructive criticism, bring it on for sure. But just don't be rude about it, you know what I mean? Like as I said at the start of this video, these cars kind of are our pride and joys. I'm sure most of you guys can appreciate that, but you know, like one guy's been a bit of an arrogant prick about it, and he's like, oh, you know, you're more than happy to spend a couple of extra bucks on some 3M products, but you're not going to sandblast it, like trying to call me out or something. And it's like, mate, I'm spending an extra 20 bucks on the good sandpapers compared to the cheap ones. So what, now I have to go and spend $3,000 to $5,000 to get my entire car sandblasted? Look, for one thing, I don't even think that's the best way to do it. Look, I've spoken to some people in the industry. I'm well aware of sandblasting. I know what it is. I know what laser blasting is. I know what dipping cars is. But at the end of the day, this is my car. I'm going to do it how I want, you know? So just don't be rude. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can say, oh man, have you considered sandblasting it? If you think that that's the best way of doing it, well, be polite about it. You know, don't insult my intelligence and try to get you, like get me on a gotcha type moment. You know, just so yeah. Especially with this car, I've got a low tolerance for bullshit and putting up with people's crap. You're gonna get banned and blocked because, yeah. I don't care, you know, and like I usually don't do that. Like if you want to, you know, criticize me or whatever on most other videos, I don't really mind. This is my pride and joy. It's kind of like a family member. That's the way I see it anyway. But yeah, that's what I've done up under here. I've sort of, you know, got the stone guard up under there. I think I might eventually change these shocks out as well. Another thing I'm going to have to do is like these jack stands and the jack of mine, they don't go that high. You can see there. I mean, it's enough to get the petrol tank in and out and get that panel, that back panel done. But I'm actually going to have to get some higher jacks, whether or not I buy them or borrow them, and some higher jack stands and a higher jack. I'm going to get this thing, and I'm going to do it all here at home. It's all doable at home. I'm going to get it jacked right up. I want it sort of like around this type height. Then I'm going to do cleaning up all up underneath here. A few people did say, hey man, you might want to have a look underneath, and I have had a look underneath, and it's not that bad. But I'm still going to clean it up. I'm going to get rid of all of that that loose dirt and rust, treat it, and I'm going to be spraying it up under there too. So yeah, it's good. Like I did patches like this. This is pretty much well gone through there. So you know, I just cut like a square out there, welded it in flush. Here there was some other holes, like there was holes through here as well. But yeah, like I kind of don't even want to show people my my welds because, hey, sure they're not perfect, but it's just I was kind of reluctant to even do anything for a while. But I thought, you know what, I'll give people an update. Why not? And look, this is perfect proof for me that my methods actually work. They might not be pretty, but they do work and they do last. So I think I mentioned it in the very first video that I did. Oh, this is the jig that we made up for the tail lights. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I put this patch in here. As I say, hey, it's not pretty. You can see it there. It ain't pretty, but it works. And there's no rust coming back. As long as you treat it properly when you do it, you got it welded in, so it's got to be strong, right? As I said, it doesn't have to be pretty, you know. As long as it's nice and strong, you seal it up, you coat it with whatever coating, you know, is going to be the right coating. It shouldn't come back, you know. I didn't sandblast in there. It didn't need to be sandblasted. This entire car is going to be stripped back to bare metal. I don't think it needs to be sandblasted. As I say, like, it's bloody expensive. You're going to be cleaning dust and, you know, stuff out from the car, which wouldn't really bother me. I could do it. If I thought that it was going to make a massive difference, I would do it. But I'll tell you what, I've been having so much fun on this car, guys. Like, I've been still still working like until 9:30 at night every single night. So I'll go to work, I'll do like 9 or 10 hour shift at work, come home, eat dinner, and then I'll come back out here and just do another 2 or 3 hours every single night. So I'm really having fun working on the car. But you know, some people have been like, oh, you know, oh, just bog it and flog it, like sell it off. And it's like, no, mate, like I'm not selling. I wouldn't be coming out here every single night. Like I wouldn't be doing like 14+ hour days. If I was just going to sell it, I'd sell it as it is and just get rid of it and make the money. Because I mean, it's worth. You'd probably get 20 grand as is. You'd bolt it all back together, get all the parts in there, and you'd probably get 20 grand easy for it. Because it's basically a full car. Obviously, yeah, it needs to be put back together now because I've ripped it apart. But yeah, why would I go to all that effort just to sell it to, you know, I mean, it might be worth 60 when it's done. So yeah, look, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing it for the love. It's my car, and I'm going to have something like a nice car when it's done. Sure, there's going to be a few bits of, you know, where there's bog, and it's not going to be 100% perfect, and you know, a bit of rust might come back, but it might not. You know, like it might take a long time till it ever comes back. Like looking at that that repair that I did in the boot, it's probably going to be a long time before anything even comes back. You know, and another thing is like it's not going to be sitting in a paddock for 10 years like it did this time. So this car here has. Like, it was never a good Torana. Like, it was, like, when I bought it off a guy who, it's kind of a bit of a long story, but he bought it from, like, down the coast, like Rosebud or Rye or something like that. So, you know, the salty, like, the sea air and all the salt, like, yeah, the coast is not nice to car bodies. So, when I got it, it was already a bit of a rust bucket, right? And then after I owned it, I painted it, and then when I went to Western Australia, I had to put it at my dad's block. I didn't have any other choice, you know. Sure, it would have been great to put it in storage, you know, but I didn't. Whatever, you know. And it's okay. Like I've pretty much got all the parts that I need to get it all repaired. Like I don't need to buy much more as far as the body goes. But yeah, as I say, I'm making very good progress. I'm happy with how the car's coming along. Sure, there's got to be bits of bog in it, but I don't think a bit of bog's the end of the world. As long as what's under there is solid and strong, you know, yeah, bog's bog, mate. Like, whatever, you know. I think some people get a little bit too worked up about it, you know. Like, this whole car used to have body molds on it. That's why you can see here, you know, and all they've done, they didn't even weld them up, right? That's me that's welded them up. They've just smashed it in, right, with a hammer, right, rough as, and then they've just bogged it up, you know? So, look, to do it the way that all these armchair experts want to do it, you wouldn't even fix it, you know? Like, it wouldn't be worth it. Like, they're tens and tens of thousands of dollars that it would cost you to do this job properly. It would be, like, not worth doing. So, yeah, to even get all that, those panels to, you know, the level that the armchair experts want me to do it at, I would have to spend a lot of money because I'm not capable of, you know, like I'm a spray painter, I'll give anything a shot, but, you know, I'm not capable of doing everything to that standard. At the end of the day, like, no one knows everything, you know, like you might be a great, you know, body repair specialist, you know, really good panel beater or whatever, but you're probably not a good accountant, you're probably not a good spray painter, you're probably not good at everything, you know what I mean? So we can't do everything. I guess my point, and somebody else made a good point, they're like, man, I will give a lot more respect to the person who gives it a chance, like a try, and does like a 50 or 70% quality job over the person who just pays to have it done. You know what I mean? And I thought, yep, absolutely. I like that sentiment. Like, you're better off just giving it a shot yourself. You know, so I'm having fun anyway, and it's my car, so leave the negativity to yourself. I don't have any tolerance for that at the moment. But yeah, once we get this back panel on, the next thing is just gonna be starting to paint strip it. So I've already gone and bought some paint strip, and that's why I'm gonna strip most of it, I reckon. And then just do the rest of it mechanically. So just get the bulk of it off with the paint stripper, and then just I've got orbital sanders, I've got grinders, I've got wire wheels, all those kinds of things, you know, these little roll-off grinders. Again, I've just gone and bought a whole box of them. Why not? Like, you know, as I say, like I'd rather spend the money on that, and that's some things that I even get to keep, rather than just getting the whole thing sandblasted. And look, that's another thing. Sandblasting is not the be all and end all, you know what I mean? Like, some people think that it is. So this door here, right? That was sandblasted. I managed to find that. Like, so I needed a replacement passenger side door for this this car here. So down the bottom there's a little patch. You can probably see it down here. And I had to cut it out because there was a section of rust, and there was absolutely dry, rusty sections in there because the sandblaster can't even get into all those edges. You know what I mean? So it's like, you would have me spend all this money on sandblasting and it's still not going to do everything. You know what I mean? And that actually comes back to what I love about this Penetrol stuff. So it's kind of like an oil. I know some people do and don't like it, but I love it. It's just, look, it's not, as I say, it's not the be all and end all, but for things that you can't actually get into, that's kind of the name, penetrate, I guess. That's what I would imagine. And it's kind of an oil. So if you read it, it does actually say it's designed for oil-based paints, but I've done a few tests with it. It will protect bare metal, right? So it'll stop bare metal from rusting. And I've done some tests even just with some aerosol can primer. It doesn't silicone up, right? And this primer even sticks to it, right? So I've done some good, scratching into that, and that's not going anywhere. So look, a guy on TikTok recommended it to me. It's easily available, like from here in Australia in Bunnings. So look, I highly recommend it. I reckon it's awesome. And I've just seen, like, if you look at that, so you can see that's their demonstration, like that has been sprayed on that nut or bolt there, and that's how far this stuff penetrates. So it is actually really good. I've kind of witnessed how good it is. Like, let's just say I was to sort of give it a spray here, by the time you pulled that bolt out, you'd probably find that there's that oil all the way up the bolt. You know what I mean? So what I've done with doors like this, which well, it was pretty bad. Like this one here was specifically quite bad, right? So I just got, so you can actually get this stuff in a aerosol can like this, and I find that's just really convenient because sometimes you just need to get up into, I don't know, whatever spot it might be. Just zap, put a little bit up in there. But you can also get it in a 1 litre can here. And I've just got that constantly, and I've got it upside down so that it doesn't leak because this plastic fantastic 3M gun here. But yeah, I've just got Penetrol in there always. So on a thing like that door, I cleaned up all of the loose rust. I've got everything that I could off. And then I just soaked the entire inside of the door. It was just dripping in Penetrol. And then what happens, it dries, it starts going sticky, and then it dries to some kind of like a shiny type finish. So although the rust is still there, like it visually looks like it's still there, this Penetrol actually penetrates through the rust, and then when you put water on it, it beads up and it goes straight off of it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, look, I give it 2 big thumbs up, and I think it's gonna be one of the contributing factors as to why I'm actually pretty confident doing this job my way, you know what I mean? Because if you look at this here was, I'll turn that light off. This here was just that standard white knight rust converter, right? And you can see there, the rust starts coming back. I'm not sure how well you can see on that video, but yeah, the rust does actually start coming back. I guess that's because it's some kind of like a water base. So with that standard white knight rust converter, I don't really trust it that much anymore. I've used it and I've had like primers not stick to it. So I don't know. I would probably rather use the Penetrol. And another guy actually recommended this one here, which is, that's rust butter. So it's actually phosphoric acid, right? There it is, phosphoric acid. So it's basically the same as dioxidine. If anyone's used dioxidine, that will be basically the same stuff. So it's an acid that will bite into it. Yeah, that's more for stuff that you can get to easily. But you know, you're not just gonna tip that into like the hard to get to spots on your doors, yet, you know, that's where the Penetrol comes in. So look, that's just my experience at the moment. Again, if you've got any pointers or ideas that I can improve, be sure to let me know. The place looks like a bit of a mess. Oh, I should take you outside here. This is a little job that I did a couple of days ago, and I've been really happy with the results. That looks killer, man. Like garage paint job and everything, mate. It's like horror clean. Like I've seen worse jobs come out of booths, man. How's that gloss? Like scratched it a little bit there, but I'm gonna actually cut that back dead flat. Yeah, Triumph tongue. You can see I did that the brushed aluminium effect, and I reckon it looks really good. We did that stripe around there. I'm actually going to be doing a specific video on that one coming soon. Bit of a garden update here. It's coming into spring. Look at that beautiful sun shining down. So I've got a few things planted out. I can't even remember. I did a few rows here. They might be those radishes coming back up, but I can't remember. So we'll have to see what comes up. I've got some parsley, got some lemongrass there. This one's like aniseed. That actually just came up itself. Got a couple of different mints there. I might need to sort of trim them back a little bit. I've got some carrots on the way up because they do grow in winter. Beetroot, dill, and spring onions there. So I'll keep you updated on the garden as we go along. Oh, there's Sky too. What are you doing, Sky? Say hello. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Thanks for being a good bunch of peeps, and I'll see you in the next one. Gunman out. I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you're more than welcome to go over and check out some of the merchandise we've got. My personal favourite is those spray suits, so they're a good quality Colad branded spray suit with the Gunman logo on it. There's also hats, drink coolers, hoodies and t-shirts, so be sure to go over and check out the link in the description if you are interested.